name is Nevin, and today I will give this inspirational talk about a project that is very close to my heart. I will talk about the Game Girl Workshop project that I co-founded in 2010 with a friend. I will show you some of the games that were created during the workshops, and I will also talk about why and how we should educate more female game developers. So this is an overview of my talk. I will give you an introduction to the history and the mission of Game Girl Workshop, and I will give you a brief overview of the workshop concept that we're running. And then I will also talk a little bit about why we do workshops for girls only, because it's a question that I get a lot. And then finally, Joe will assist me and play 3 games that were developed in Palestine. And then in between the games, there will also be some mini interviews with the girls that participated in the workshops. So this is Andrea and me. So we began the workshop as a response to the significant lack of females working in the games industry. And the whole idea for Game Girl Workshop started at the Nordic Game Conference in 2010 in Malmö. And that year the theme was like the emerging Arabic markets, which for us was quite interesting, and it also kind of spawned this idea that where we thought, well, since this is like a relatively new industry in the Middle East, it could perhaps be the perfect opportunity to get more girls into games. So this idea of like having a workshop, doing workshops for girls only, it grew on us, and it also made us more curious about the fact that when you put a bunch of teenage girls into a room and you give them the tools to create games, what kind of games would they come up with? Will we see some new stories, or will they copy something that they've played before? So it was like really an open question. So this is the mission of Game Girl Workshop. So our mission is to teach and inspire girls to have fun with technology and to develop computer games built on their own stories. So our workshop is a short and intensive workshop where we give them a crash course in the different game development disciplines. So we give them introduction to game design, what is game design, audio design, and graphics and programming. And then they also get introduced to audio, graphics, and coding programs. And what we also do is that we encourage them to brainstorm and come up with their own ideas and develop a narrative that they can then transform into a computer game. So the first workshop we had was in 2010 at the Islamic Arabic Private School in Copenhagen. So 10 girls from 8th grade participated, and the workshop was 3 days in duration. They developed 2 games, and both games they included a start menu, and then they created some multiple levels, and then there was like a win-lose menu. So the games that they created were replayable. And the workshop was a great success, partly because some of the girls found out they actually had a talent, whether it was coding or creating graphics, or they had a great interest in composing music. But another thing that was also, I thought was amazing, was that the parents and the school board was like also very impressed with what they could accomplish in so few days. And I remember there was like a mom who came to me and she said, my daughter, she's been coming home every evening and she's been like so happy about this workshop, and I've actually never considered the games industry as a career path for my daughter, but after what I've seen that you guys have been doing in 3 days, I'm I will reconsider the games industry as a career path for my daughter. So after this workshop at the Islamic Arabic private school, we thought, maybe we should take this concept a bit further. So maybe we should take it to a country in the Middle East. So in 2012, we traveled to the West Bank in Palestine with funding from ActionAid Denmark. And we carried out several workshops, and the participants' age range was from 11 till 28 years. So, and I should also say that the reason that we went to Palestine was not for political reasons. It was merely because we had a contact who said that there's this Danish house in Palestine who are already running these like art, cultural exchange programs between Denmark and the West Bank, Palestine. So there was we had a contact point in Ramallah who could help us with logistics and people who could help us out. So now, girls only, why? Why not mixed gender workshop? Which is also a good idea, but I mean, this is a question that I hear a lot, and the reasons for why we do it for girls only are many. So, I mean, first of all, the concept of Game Girl Workshop is partly inspired by participatory game design theories. So if you select a certain segment of people and give them the tools to create games, what game narratives would they come up with? I mean, it's this open question of like, would they tell some new stories? Will they come up with some new game mechanics? Or will they just copy something that they've played before? And a second thing is, which is, well, also like the biggest reason, is that we are all very biased by our genders. And it's a harder and very complex topic to discuss. But whether you're a boy or a girl, you're brought up with different cultural and social behaviors and constructions. And also recently I read about an article about focus group interviews and user experience. And it was recommended that when you are doing user research with a mixed target audience, mixed female-male target audience, you should split the focus groups into several interviews. And the reason is that when you have a mixed gender focus group, males tend to dominate the conversation and dialogue. So what they recommended was that if you want to get better research results and more valid data, they recommended to split the focus group interviews into male, female, and then mixed. So that way you could get get the whole picture of the topic that you're researching. So with Game Girl Workshop, we see it very much in the same way. We want all possible narratives exposed in computer games. And we are thinking that one way to do this is by doing game development workshops for girls only, and also like with female teachers that can be role models. So the workshops are like a safe space where the girls can experiment, collaborate, and have fun with technology on their own terms and at their own pace. We want to empower the girls and teach them the design behind technology instead of just consuming games. So I will now talk a little bit about the concept. So a Game Girl Workshop is usually 3 or 5 days in duration. And the girls, they work on their game prototype from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. every day. It's very intense. And there's in several places where our workshop is different from other games development workshops that I've seen or heard of. So first of all, we introduce the girls to professional software tools to create graphics, to create music, and to code the game. They're not allowed to download or copy graphics or music from the internet. What we tell them is that they can get inspiration from the internet, but they have to create all the graphics, music, and code themselves. And another thing is that we don't work with game templates such as a shooter game or a maze, Pac-Man style game or a platform or puzzle game. We encourage them to brainstorm and come up with their own ideas and to develop a game narrative that they can then transfer into game mechanics. A third thing is that we don't interfere with their creative decisions. We merely guide them to how they can transform their ideas into game mechanics. So everything the girls do in the games are their own artistic decisions. And yes, some of them can be quite funny choices. So, and the fourth thing that I'm thinking is different is that we are 4 female teachers. We are each representing different specialties and skills, just like in a real-world games production. So, and when we're running the workshops in Palestine, we also had female translators. So we're thinking that it's very important for girls to have female role models from the industry so they can see that, oh, okay, it is possible to be female and work professionally in the games industry. So, yeah, as you saw before, Andrea, she's teaching game design, and I'm teaching audio design. So, and this is Linda. She's our programmer guru, coder teacher. She's really amazing at teaching logic to the kids. And Ane, she's our awesome graphics teacher. So I will now show you some pictures from workshops. This is an example of a brainstorming process. So we have experimented with the different themes just to get the idea creation process started. And in this example from Palestine, what we did was that we gave them contrasting words. Because we found out that if we just gave them like one word, then they would maybe interpret that very literally. So we thought if we give them some contrasting words, then it would be more open for abstract interpretation. So we gave them the themes like young and old, and then the other themes were light and shade and flourish and decay. So on this slide, these are pictures from a workshop in Dubai. Our workshop was a part of the International Symposium on Electronic Art. So as you can see, we're also creating task lists. So the girls, they have so little time, and also creating games is a complex process. So doing task lists like this kind of helps them staying focused and on track. And then also the black and white pictures, the hand-drawn pictures are drawn by a girl named Sky. I think she was only 13. She's very talented, and it's always like a great inspiration when you meet someone like her. So this is also from the workshop in Dubai. So I should also say that the workshop in Dubai was like the first time that we used Unity. So we used Unity in combination with Playmaker. So before the girls actually started scripting in Playmaker, we wanted them to understand the concepts of events, triggers, and states. So we made a physical game. So they made a drawing where they created some states, like there's a state saying run around the room, and the next day to sleep and choke, and then stop sleeping and start farting, making noises. Anyway, so one person was reading the code, and then the girls were like going in and out of these different states. And it was interesting that after this like physical gameplay, some of them were actually capable of like sitting down afterwards and do some simple controls in Playmaker. So we were very impressed. So I think it's time to play some games. So the first game that I will show you is Fisherman. So it's a game about fishing from a boat and catching all the fish in the sea on time. So the interesting thing about this game is that there's an intro sequence where the player character has to walk like from right to left up to the boat. So, I mean, from a Western perspective, you maybe wouldn't want to have an intro sequence like that, but it was very important for the storytelling of the girls. So, and again, it's their creative decision, so we can't interfere with that. And also, you will also notice that the footsteps are very loud, and I actually asked them if that was intentional, and they said yes. So I was like, okay, it's your decision, so I can't interfere with that. So, Joe? Yeah. No, it's the other one. No. It's the first tab. Yes. Yeah. Oh no! You died already. Yeah. Oh, the level design is a bit hard in this game. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Yes. All right. So there's a video now, and it's a little interview with the girls that made the sound design for the game. Yeah.
كنا ننفخ بالمصاصة فعشان يطلع فقاعات يعني عشان نعملها للجيم ويطلع يعني لما تغوص هاي تغرق السفينة يغرق الزلمة والسفينة يعني بيطلع هيك صوت فعملنا هيك عشان يكون
So I was actually going to show you some more games, but we're running out of time. But one thing that I want to say is that for me it's like amazing to see that when young girls they get their hands on technology and they have like no prior experience in this in these programs, some quite interesting compositions and like both in the visuals but also in the audio appear. So and for me it's like really amazing that even though that they don't have any like formal training in music or in graphics, that they're still able to express their feelings through the software. So I was supposed to. I'm just gonna wrap up these games. So, just to give you a bit of perspective, is that one of the things that we thought was interesting with the games developed in Palestine was that there was no female characters in the games, and we actually asked them, like, we said, like, hey, it's your game. You can decide whatever you want. Don't you want to have a female character? And then they answered, no, it has to be a male character because as a male, I have the power to go out in the world and do something. And being a female, you apparently didn't have the same powers. So another thing that we observed was that there was in the games that there was no stories or references to the political conflict between Israel and Palestine. We kind of assumed that there would be some references, but there was none. So the only political context that we could see was that it was like archetypical storytellings with male player characters, and it kind of reflected the social gender structure in Palestine. And then also a third thing that we observed was that the visuals are full of nature, like flowers, the forest, and the sea. But the reality was that, especially for the last workshop we did in a refugee camp, was that the girls had lived there all their lives, inside this refugee camp, which is full of concrete, so they've probably never seen the sea. They've probably never seen a forest. So, yeah, and compared to the games developed in Denmark and Sweden and Dubai, the stories there are much more individualistic and much more abstract. So the next one is Vox Pop with an interview with some of the girls that participated.
We have learned a lot of things. I learned how to make a game on computer, and it was really, really exciting. Maybe at first it was hard, but after repeating and doing the same steps, it turned easy in the end.
I've been in the girl workshop game, and I really enjoyed the people here, and they're really nice because they helped me out a lot while working, and also the programs are new but easy for me because I really wanted to work as an architecture, so it has to do something with that, so it might help me a lot in the future.
تعلمت كيف أعمل على برنامج جديد، وتعلمت تصميم جرافيك ديزاين، وكمان تعلمت كيف انه يكون كمان في مش شرط انه بس انه يكون على البروجرام. تعلمت كيف انه يكون تعاون بين بعض في المجموعة.
I've learned about a program called GIMP. It's a program that you paint graphics, and so you can give them to the programmers where they have to give the graphics some kind of action. And I also learned how to scan.
We make objects and sprites and rooms, and then we put the objects that we need in the rooms, and with the little steps and conditions, we make a game that's interesting for young people, older people, any age.
The most exciting part, when we actually work together, while working on the graphics, while coloring them.
The most exciting part when you press run and you see the result of your hard work. It's really exciting.
And I learned finally how to crop image. I wanted to do that every time. I always wanted to crop an image. I never knew. But when I came here, I learned many new things. It was really fun actually.
I feel very happy. أنا أحكي عربي. أنا بشعر كتير فرحانة كتير إنه قدرت أعمل هيك إشي أنا ومجموعتي، وكمان كان كتير شيء مثير إنه نتعلم هيك برنامج ونقدر نعمل هيك ألعاب.
Actually, that for the first time in my life that I have accomplished something. yeah, I think that I did. I felt that I'm successful. Yeah.
Yeah. So. So this is like, just a list of the software tools we use. So we always strive for open source or free software tools. But I mean, finding a good music program can be really hard, or like a good visual scripting package. So in those cases, we try to make some sponsorship arrangements. So this is the end of my presentation. Final word from Lujain. Actually, for the first time in my life, I have accomplished something. I felt that I'm successful. So, I mean, this quote makes me really, really happy, but also sad at the same time, because it makes me think that we can do so much more to educate more female game developers. So hopefully we will go on more future adventures, and you can follow us on Twitter at Game Girl Workshop, or you can go to our website, gamegirlworkshop.org, and play the games and see some videos. So I hope you enjoyed my talk, and thank you for listening.